It's spooky season, so let's make some adorable Halloween cupcake toppers. Hi there, foodie friends. My name is Carly, and welcome back to my channel, Adventures in Yum. First, we're making a fun marshmallow jack-o'-lantern. We start by melting some white candy melts in short increments in the microwave. Here I'm using some Ghirardelli white vanilla melting wafers. Once they've completely melted, we take the end of a pretzel stick, dip the broken part into the melts, and push it into the middle of a regular marshmallow until just the tip of the pretzel sticks out. This will be our jack-o'-lantern stem. Next, we hold the pretzel stem and dip the marshmallow into the melting wafers, making sure that it gets completely covered. We then use the tip of a spoon to scrape off some of the excess melting wafers in vertical lines like so. We then place this on a piece of parchment paper and let the candy melt harden either at room temperature or in the refrigerator. We dip it again in the same vanilla melt and use the spoon once again to remove some of the melting wafers in the same exact vertical lines that we made before. This is how we're helping create our pumpkin look. Once again, we let the melts harden in the fridge. Then, we melt some orange candy melts in short increments in the microwave. Once they've completely melted, we're adding a little bit of vegetable oil to thin the candy melts. This will result in a smoother finish on the coating. We dip the candy-coated marshmallow in the orange melts, gently shaking off the excess, and place it on a piece of parchment paper to set. We want to make sure that they get completely coated in the orange melt so we can use a food brush to touch up any spots that didn't get covered in orange. Next, we melt some yellow candy melts in short increments in the microwave. Once melted, we add a little bit of vegetable oil to slightly thin the candy melts. Then we use a food brush to paint a face onto our marshmallow pumpkins. You can certainly use a piping bag to pipe the face onto the pumpkins, but I simply prefer to use a food brush for this part. Finally, we melt some green candy melts in short increments in the microwave. We add some of the green candy melts to a piping bag and pipe some vines onto the tops of the jack-o'-lanterns. For this cupcake, I piped a small rosette with a 1M piping tip. Dip that in Oreo cookie crumbs to represent dirt, and then we top it off with our jack-o'-lantern. And here's our complete jack-o'-lantern marshmallow topper cupcake. Second, we're making a simple witch's broom. We start by melting some yellow candy melts in short increments in the microwave. Once they've completely melted, we dip the end of a pretzel stick into the melts and then into the center of an upside-down peanut butter cup. While those candy melts set, I recommend placing the pretzel peanut butter cups into the fridge so that the chocolate on the peanut butter cups won't melt while we dip them into the yellow candy melts. We're next adding a tiny bit of vegetable oil to thin out the yellow candy melts so that they have a better consistency for coating. We can also use this time to reheat the melts before they start to set. Now we're ready to coat the peanut butter cups. We hold the top of the pretzel sticks and dip the peanut butter cup into the melts, making sure that the entire thing gets coated. We gently shake off and scrape the bottom to remove excess melts. We place this back on the parchment paper and allow it to set in the fridge. We could stop here, but I decided to dip the peanut butter cups into the yellow melts a second time for a smoother look. Once the candy melts are completely set, we use a fork to scrape the sides to give it texture and make it look like the bristles of a broom. I like to wipe away excess shavings with a paper towel about halfway through and at the end of the scraping process. For this cupcake, I piped a tall dollop of buttercream using a 1M piping tip, sprinkled on some edible star accents, and we top it off with our witch's broom. And here's our complete witch's broom topper cupcake. Before we make our final cupcake topper, if you're getting value out of this video, then please make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified about my latest video. The third topper is a cute witch's cauldron. We start by melting some black candy melts in short increments in the microwave. Once they're completely melted, we're adding a little bit of vegetable oil to thin the candy melts. I accidentally added a little bit too much vegetable oil, so I added some more candy melts to help thicken up the mixture. Once we achieve a nice consistency, like so, we take a round truffle, place it on a stick like the cake tester I'm using here, and dip it into the black candy melts. We gently shake off the excess and place it on a piece of parchment paper and then in the fridge to set. As you can see, we didn't scrape off any excess melts this time, which resulted in some excess melts on the parchment paper, but this is exactly what we're looking for because it creates a lip for our cauldron. Once the candy melts have set, we flip the truffles upside down, dip just the bottom in a little bit of black candy melts, and place it back on the parchment paper to set. This is to give the cauldrons a flat bottom, which is going to make decorating the top of the cauldrons easier. Next, we melt some green candy melts in short increments in the microwave. We add some of the green candy melts to a piping bag and pipe some onto the tops and a little spilling over the sides of the cauldrons. Before the melt set, we add sprinkles like these green nonpareil sprinkles and a bone sprinkle to complete the look of a bubbling cauldron. For this cupcake, I piped a rosette of buttercream using a 1M piping tip, followed by a second smaller buttercream rosette on top of the first one. Sprayed it with some gold edible glitter and top it off with our Witch's Cauldron. And here's our complete Witch's Cauldron topper cupcake. Don't forget to let me know in the comments if you give these a try. If you're interested in checking out some of the products I used in this video, then please make sure to check out that video description below for some of their Amazon links. Thank you so much for joining me today, foodie friends. I'll see you next time for another spooky, cute, yummy adventure.